Saturday, July the 16th, and a fine sunny day over Liverpool docks. Sticking out through the industrial haze are the shipyards of Laird and the Liver building with those fabulous birds on its roof. And the cathedral looms up at us as we move northwards to the outskirts where many a weekly postal order has found its home. On to the Preston Road and Aintree, where already the traffic is nose to tail and getting thicker all the time. For this is a big day to northerners and in motor racing. The 1955 British Grand Prix is being held on the 3-mile circuit at Aintree. For years famous for the Grand National, it's now getting a chance to show what it can do in the way of an exciting motor race. Starting well with a lovely warm and sunny day, it follows with the appearance for the first time up north of the Mercedes Grand Prix cars. The field is impressive in foreign names. Ferrari, Mercedes and Maseratis are all here in force. Favorites must be the 4-car-strong Mercedes team, managed as usual by Alfred Neubauer and led by world champion Fangio, and with veteran Mille expert Taruffi in the 4th car. Designer Uhlenhout seems happy. From Ferraris come 3 of last year's cars, not the Super Squallows we had been hoping to see. Led by Mike Hawthorn, the team is Maurice Trantillon, surprise winner of the Grand Prix at Monaco, and Eugenio Castelloti, protege of the late Alberto Ascari. Maseratis have the largest number of cars in the race, with 4 private entries and 4 in the official team, which is led by Frenchman Jean Behra. France's other star, Robert Manzon, is here to lead the French Gordinis. Back at the wheel of a van wall, which he had to leave so quickly at Silverstone, is Ken Wall. Driving the second van wall is handsome Harry Schell. To introduce the Grand Prix drivers to the crowd, the BARC produces a seemingly endless row of Austin Healys to drive them round. Some, like Fangio, we all know, but young Musso is a new face to many. And Carl Kling, talking with father and son Moss, is a comparative stranger. The parade sets off on its tour around the circuit. Stirling and Taruffi, Hawthorn, Mike Sparker, Ken Wall. Mieres, looking as though he's won the race already. Parade over, in front of the pits, everything becomes a scene of frantic last-minute activity. The crowd looks at the helicopter, and the helicopter looks at the crowd. A large crowd. Mrs. Topham seems to have a success on her hands. Pretty girls are there in force. Some even seem ready for the end of the race before it started. Now bonnets are put on for the last time and the cars go out for their warming up lap. Warmest looking, and yet we gather feeling cooler than most, is this man, apparently from outer space, in his special firefighting gear. Now out on the grid, the cars take up their positions. Moss, with fastest practice lap, is in pole position with Fangio next to him, both on the short chassis cars with outboard brakes. Jean Behra's Maserati has stolen 3rd place from Kling and Taruffi, but Neubauer keeps his thoughts for the finishing order. Schell's van wall has got into the 3rd row, along with Mieres and Simon's Maseratis, and Hawthorn is in an unusual position for him, the 5th row. I wonder what Neubauer is telling Fangio. Two minutes to go. And Schell have stalled and have to be pushed off. Waterway corner, and the Mercedes led by Fangio are 1, 2, 3 and 4. From the air we see them as they pass Anchor Crossing and go along Sefton Strait into the loop. Cottage Corner, still the 4 Mercedes lead, but Behra, after his bad start, is going after Taruffi. Rolt, number 36, leading British car, is in 16th place as they go through the other half of the loop at Country Corner. Now the leaders approach Beeches, and Behra has passed Taruffi to take 4th place. Crossing goes Fangio with Moss on his heels, and so to the slow right-hander at Tats and the end of the first lap. Fangio and Moss go past, but it's Behra in 3rd place, then Kling and Taruffi. And now in this first lap, coming slowly round Tats, is the first casualty, Seymour on the Maserati, who goes straight into the pits with gearbox trouble. In the lead, Fangio is pushed by Moss, who sits right on his tail. Down from Country Corner to Village they stream, with Fangio kicking up clouds of dust as he clips the grass. Now Behra moves up, and Moss closes again as they go through Beeches. At Tats, Behra is really breathing down their necks. Still, Moss is trying, and just after Waterway, he whips over and takes the world champion on the inside. And so a British driver leads in the British Grand Prix, albeit in a German car. Behind Moss and Fangio, Mieris in number 6 Maserati slips past Taruffi into 5th place. No one can live with the pace of the two leaders, but behind them Behra and Mieris are on equal terms with Kling and Taruffi. A clicking of multiple stopwatches by Neubauer as Moss and Fangio scream past the pits. They take the same line through every corner. Behra's Maserati suddenly belches out smoke, and although he passes the pits, it's only to stop at Waterway out of the race. And so, the only challenger out, Moss and Fangio go on with their beautiful exhibition of high-speed precision motoring. Castelloti is in for plugs. Mieres had his cling, and Musso does the same to Taruffi, trying to save a complete right. But Kling is grimly determined not to run out of road in this race. Kling's got Mieres in his driving mirror all the time. Musso in number 4 is as fast through beaches as Taruffi, but he's not the Merc speed on the straight. Robert Manzon, walking home from his transmissionless Gordini, sees that fellow Frenchman Trantillon is driving without goggles. He's able to lend him his own at a rapid pit stop in mid-circuit. An unhappy Castelloti, plug change of no avail, brings in a very rough-sounding Ferrari with an ominous pool of water seeping out onto the track. And now Mike Sparkin brings in the other Gordini for information about the rear end. After inspection by the sorcerer himself and Robert Manzon, who ought to know, he's sent off again. Well, Herr Neubauer knows what the state of his team is and who's due to win. And so perhaps he's not surprised when Fangio comes through ahead of Stirling. And now for 8 laps, Moss has to watch Fangio's line through corners. Good experience, no doubt, but one we feel Stirling could do without on this particular occasion. Behind the leaders, Harry Schell is making up for his bad start on the van wall, and at Waterway he passes Hawthorn to take 8th place. Then, just as he's moving up to pass Collins on the Owen Maserati, the accelerator pedal breaks and he has to abandon the car and take a long and hot walk home for a quiet talk with Mr. van der Velde. The hot weather is hard on men and their machines, and many an oil temperature is up where it shouldn't be. And is Moss up where he shouldn't be? Anyway, he's in the lead again, and is never to lose it for the rest of the race. Wharton brings his van wall in with lack of oil. No wonder. Most of it is spread round the track and gives the marshals at Tat some energetic and fairly hazardous work. Especially from Macklin, who chooses to spin off just at this point. It's all right, Stirling. He hasn't bent your Maserati badly, just bashed in the tail of it. And off he goes for assistance from his pit to restart, while marshals push the car to a safer spot. Kling is still harried by Mieres in 4th place. But young Musso in the Maserati has got past Taruffi, whose job is to stay in the race as spare car in case the leaders blow up. But it's not the leaders who blow up, but Mieres in the Maserati. And he struggles back to his pit, where piles of old rags fail to hide the oil stains left by the car as it joins the dismal throng in the dead car park. Since the oil leak on the Wharton van wall had been mended, Harry Schell sees no reason to miss his motor racing and takes over, although way behind the leaders. Castelloti, too, has taken over Mike Hawthorn's Ferrari. Mike is not at all well, and the pair of them provide one of the best bits of racing of the day, passing and repassing each other constantly. It's interesting that Castelloti always chooses beaches to do his overtaking, and Harry chooses railway straight. It certainly is hot, and even Herr Neubauer is mopping his brow, whilst some give up altogether. Trantillon is one of these. He comes in for a plug change, but when the plugs are taken out, bubbling noises from the top of the cylinder head point to rather more drastic repairs being needed. An early visitor is Manzon. Those goggles were only on loan, Maurice. And so the race goes on to its conclusion, with Banjo drawing closer to Moss for the finish of the race. Let's watch just once more as these two men demonstrate the very fastest way to take a car through any type of corner on this circuit. And now here they come for the last time, along the railway straight, through Melling Crossing and down to Tats. Past the pits in as near line abreast as makes no difference. They get the checkered flag and go on to their lap of honor. And so, for the first time in motoring history, the British Grand Prix has been won by an Englishman. And who more richly deserving than Stirling Moss, who for years has been so near to victory and yet has always found it elude him, even when apparently safely within his hands. It has been left to Mercedes to make his dream come true with a motor car which at this stage is invincible in Grand Prix racing.